What's up, everybody, and welcome to T-Winnie Adventures. It's been a year since I did this build, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Y-Cycles R+ gravel bike. I think it's fair to note that shortly after I did this build, Y-Cycles had rebranded themselves under the Revel Bike brand, which is their sister company. Since I completed the build, I've got over 2,000 miles on this bike, 175 hours, and it's been pretty awesome. But before I dive into my thoughts, let's go over the components I used for this build. I started off with the SRAM AXS XPLR line for the drivetrain, and I paired those up with the Force hydraulic brakes. I also went with the Nine GRCX wheel set, fully anodized pink, and paired that up with some Oracle Ridge tires from Rene Air. Up front with the handlebars, I think I went with the Salsa cow chippers, I believe, and paired that up with a Thomson stem. Went with a Brooks Cambrium C15 seat and paired that with the Thomson titanium seat post. I also used various Concrete components like the bottom bracket and the headset, and I also went with their titanium EE-wing crankset. So I must say that riding this bike is a blast. Whether it's laps around our local trail at Salem Lake, which is gravel, or spinning full weekends in the Appalachian Mountains, this bike is just super comfortable. I've done large events like the Appalachian Mountaineer, which is the debut appearance of this bike. It was the first ride that I did after completing the build, as well as doing the Appalachian Journey and Tour de Dirt, both of those in Floyd, Virginia. I've also spent plenty of time in western North Carolina and the Wilson Creek Gorge area, where riding with some friends there, we would probably average anywhere between 100 and 125 feet of elevation per single mile. So to me, the titanium construction and geometry of this bike lends strongly into it being super comfortable, as well as equipping it with the Rene Air Oracle Ridge tires. These tires, when inflated to about 25 PSI on those i9 rims, measure in right at 50 millimeters, close to 2 inches. So my previous gravel bike was the Niner RLT, and compared to the Y-Cycles, I feel that the Niner was more kind of road geometry, where the R+ feels a lot more like my hardtail mountain bike. And because of that, I think that it helps on the descents as far as being a lot more stable and me more in control with that geometry and wider tires. So those descents in Pisgah and southwestern Virginia are kind of easy at that point, right? I will note too that because this bike is so comfortable, me at my slow pace of climbing, it makes the ascents just super easy and tolerable, I'll say. I still don't want to do them, but they're tolerable. So I've taken the R+ on quite a bit of pavement tarmac, and we'll say that it performs pretty good. I've done some randos that were roughly around 55 miles, nothing but pavement, and super comfortable. The only drawbacks would be the fact that the tires are extremely noisy and maybe a little too much compared to a road bike to pedal and push around. But other than that, this bike does perform really good on pavement. So I'm a sucker for titanium. I love how timeless it looks. Y-Cycles had actually gone in and etched this with some really cool graphics on the top tube and the seat tube and things like that. So that was kind of a cool addition to kind of modernize the look of the bike while keeping that timeless classic titanium look. I also decked this thing out with a lot of pink accents, the pink wheels, grip tape, and things like that. I love the color pink, so I had to go that route. But this bike really turns the heads. I roll up into a group ride of gravel cyclists, and they comment quite a bit on it. So I kind of do find that bike sexy. Real sexy? Yeah, it's sexy. All right, so let's move on to some of the only thing that I can find that I want to complain about this bike. And that's the fact that the fork has no mounting points to it. The Revel fork, as sexy as it looks, just isn't much more functional than just a fork. And I think that all the other mounts that are on this bike, the fork should have mounts as well. It would be great for touring. It would be great for bike packing. There's mounts for racks on the back. There's so many mounts for bottle cages and all kinds of things on the frame. Why not have a fork that matches what the frame is capable of doing? But with that said, that's the only drawback. I do think that future upgrades would be to put a fork on here, or at least have a fork that I can swap out to do bike packing or touring or something of that nature. And one other thing that I think I would add, especially for these long descents in Pisgah, would be a dropper post. And I've been looking at the RockShox Reverb Axis dropper post for gravel bikes. I think it's part of the SRAM Explorer line. And I think being able to get that seat down in the lower center of gravity will just help me be a little bit more confident in my descents and basically send it. So to wrap this up, I will say that this bike is extremely capable of me spending long days on the saddle with it, capable of turning heads with its sexy looks. It climbs well, it descends well, it does good on tarmac, it does good on gravel, it does good on single track. I'm taking it on a couple of single track trails here and there. But I gotta say that this bike is just phenomenal, and I can't recommend it enough. If you have the opportunity to demo a Revel R Plus or a Y-Cycle R Plus, do so. Let me know what your thoughts are if you do, or if you own one. What have you experienced, and how do you think that it feels overall? Is it a great ride? Is it just super comfortable? Is it everything that I'm saying that it is? Leave those comments down in the bottom here underneath this video thing where you can comment. So that's it. That's all I had for the review. I hope it made sense. I appreciate you getting this far. And if you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And remember, the adventure doesn't end here. Go ahead and keep exploring, keep pedaling, and keep discovering the beauty that awaits you. And we'll catch you on the next adventure. Cheers.